I want freedom. Freedom is what? Freedom from dependence upon objects. Including what? Including the person that I think I am. That's a tough one. We'll get to that. In reality, they're just two. It's just from your own experience. Just look at your own experience and see. Isn't your own experience nothing but what? A conscious subject, me, it's called the self, a conscious subject, and what? And objects that present themselves to you. Isn't that right? Isn't that what experience is? I here am a conscious, awareful, existent being, and my life or my experience is what? Just experiences that appear to me and disappear from me, that come into the field of my awareness and what? And that disappear out of my field. Does anybody experience life in any other way than that? No. Now, this person that I think I am is in the field. This is called the field, the kshetra. This is called the kshetrajna. I'm going to introduce a few Sanskrit terms. In this field, we call it dharma field. It's a kshetra. It's a field of objects. And this, above this line here, is what? Or behind this line, or above it, is what? Is me, consciousness, existence, awareness. They're all the same. Love. Sat, my existence. Does anybody have a doubt that they exist? Please raise your hand. Obviously you can't raise your hand if you don't exist. No, you got these idiots out there in the spiritual world that stand up in front of you and say, I don't exist, you don't exist. I mean, actually, there's guys out there that get hundreds of people and they talk like that. No, you do exist. You're the only thing that exists. You exist, and what? And you're conscious. That's sat. That's called sat in Sanskrit. And your chit also. That means what? Awareness or consciousness. We can use those terms interchangeably. Okay? Chit means consciousness. Now, what's the relationship between your consciousness and your existence? Are they the same or are they different? Same. Why? Why? Because you can't exist unless you know you exist, and you can't know you exist unless you exist, can you? If you say I exist, then do you know that fact? Yeah, you don't, huh? Obviously, to say it, you have to know it, right? You can't have knowledge without consciousness. It's impossible to have knowledge without consciousness. Consciousness is, knowledge is inert, it's an object, and consciousness is what? That because of which I know what I know. So if you know you exist, then you're conscious. And you can't know you exist unless you exist, can you? How could you say I exist unless I knew that I exist? So existence and consciousness are the same thing. That's called sat chit. This subject, you, is sat, existence, and it's what? Chit, consciousness. Okay? Now those are, so basically you're 2/3 enlightened already. Okay? Because enlightenment is knowing who I am. Now there's one more word that we have to talk about here. It's called ananda. Or anandam. That's the part I'm not clear about. Ananda means without anda, end. Anda means end in Sanskrit. And ananda, when you put an a in front of a word, it reverses the meaning of the word. So anda means end, like Vedanta. Vedanta means what? Anta, the end of knowledge, or the knowledge that's the end of the Veda, or the knowledge that ends the quest for knowledge. That's what anta means, Vedanta. So ananda means what? Endless, beginningless, completeness, fullness, which equals what? Love. Now this is the part, the Ananda part I have a problem with. Don't I? I'm not sure that I'm limitless. I know I exist, I know I'm conscious, but now limitless means free. Doesn't it? You have to understand what this word limitless means. Limitless means free. I don't have any limits. It means I'm free. Now when you say limitless, what do you think? What's your concept of limitless? Is that big? Yeah, probably. Probably fast, big, Brahman. You've heard the Sanskrit word Brahman. God, Brahman. Actually, the word Brahman actually has a sense of meaning. One of the meanings is big, expansive. So when I tell you that you're Brahman, that you're limitless, you think, what's this guy? What's he smoking? Right? What's wrong with him? Right? I know very well I'm not big. I know very well I'm very limited. Isn't that right? Isn't that your experience, that you're very limited? Yeah, it is. You think you're knowledge limited, or you wouldn't be sitting here. You think you're action limited. You can only do certain things, that you want to do a lot of things that require a lot more energy than you have. You think you're love limited, don't you? You're always looking for love, aren't you? Come on. Of course you are. Huh? Always a sense of limitation here. As what? As a jiva. As an individual entity. Now what's interesting about this individual entity, it's called a reflected awareness. These jivas, these individual people, they're in the field. Which means what? That jiva that I think I am is an object. Whoa. This jiva is attached to all kinds of objects, but the jiva itself is an object known to me. So what? If I'm attached to that jiva, I'm just attached to an object. But how do I get rid of my attachment to that jiva? I think I am that jiva. That person. See the problem? I think I'm going to get rid of all the attachments for this jiva. You might think that's what enlightenment is. But this person is nothing but a bunch of attachments. Desires, fears, thoughts, so on, objects. It's one object among all the objects in the Dharma field. Dharma field means a field of laws, field of rules, field of objects. The objects all behave according to certain laws. That's why it's Dharma. So my idea is, I'm going to renounce, I'm going to become a sannyasi. I'm going to let go of everything, get rid of my this and my that, and then this and my that, and I'm going to be free. Well, guess what? You're not going to be free as a sannyasi, ever. Pack it in. If you're in this field, you're dependent upon everything in the field. You're an object. But I don't know I'm an object. I think I'm the subject. Right? I think I'm the subject and all the objects are the objects, and I don't know that I'm the object along with a lot of other objects. So the real me is hidden from me because of my belief that I'm this reflected person. It's called Pratibimba Vada is the name of this teaching, reflected awareness, Pratibimba. All of us jivas here are like moons. That's why we got here. See that on the graphic here, we got a little moon? Huh? And you're like the sun. You, the original consciousness, the original existence, is like the sun. Always shining and always full. See how full it is? It's always full. It's always shining. And it shines by itself. Did you know you're shining on your own? Tell me this. What are you doing right now to exist? Okay. Say, what are you doing? I have to keep doing it or I won't exist. Do you ever feel like that if you weren't busy, you didn't exist? You're not doing it a long time ago. You're not doing anything to exist. You're not doing anything to survive. You're surviving. Oh, I'm doing it all. I've got to survive. You're surviving. You exist. There's nothing you can do about it. You're like the sun. You shine on your own without no effort and everything shines after you. That means what? Everything is a reflection of your glory, including this person, that I think I am. I'm like the moon. It was a full moon night, and I decided it was a beautiful night, and everybody was out. I thought, I'll go up and have a chat with the moon. I went and said, hey, how you doing? He said, good, good. I said, look, see those people down there on Earth? So they're out there enjoying. Look at how see? Look at that. See, in my light, everything happens. See? So beautiful. I'm so wonderful. I'm so special. I said, I'll do respect. Due respect. But you're a thief. So look at me. How dare you? A thief? What do you mean? They're all out. They're all dependent upon me. Look at them. Look at them. They're all enjoying. I'm the moonlight. What a beautiful thing it is. I am. It's not a beautiful thing. I said, no, you're a thief. He said, what do you mean? I said, you're stealing your light. You're stealing it, man. I said, stealing? What are you talking to me? How dare you talk to me like that? So they said, well, okay, then who am I stealing from? I said, the sun. I said, where's the sun? Where's the sun? I was just over there, man. See, the sun is shining, it's reflecting on you, and you're bouncing your rays onto the earth, and then people can see it. So that's not your light, you're borrowing your light. He said, where's the light? It's over there. He said, well, I don't see it. Why can't you see who you are? Huh?
Because it is who you are.
Because it is who you are, but there's another reason. That's right, that is because it is who you are. You think that you're what? You're somebody other than what you are, so you don't see it. That's the true meaning, but there's another reason, a material reason. This mind, this person that I think I am, is made of matter. This is that material part of yourself. Remember I said you're a spiritual part and you're a material part? And this person this is all matter from here on down. So this is just, this mind of mine is just a reflector. But wherever you have matter, it's like a black hole. It's like a black hole. Black holes are places in the universe where what? There's so much gravity that light can't escape it. So no light can get out of there. So they're just totally devoid of light. And so the material world is like what? It absorbs consciousness. It absorbs your light. It doesn't reflect your light. It absorbs it. Now, there are three types of matter: sattva, rajas, and tamas. This is a Guna teaching now. And sattva tends to reflect light. Rajas tends to project light, and Thomas tends to conceal light. But this mind, this subtle body here, this reflected awareness, what does it do? It absorbs a certain amount of light. Why? Because what? It's material, and that reflection never can bounce all the way back to the original to illumine the sun. Because some of the sun's light striking here, but enough of it's being absorbed by the matter part of yourself, so that you can't experience or see who you are. That's why you don't know who you are, because you can't see it. It's hidden from you. It's present, it's aware, it's you, it's your existence, your consciousness, but you can't experience it, you can't see it. Why? Because it's been absorbed by your mind, by reflector. And you've identified, this self that you are has identified itself with the reflected awareness, the reflected consciousness, and therefore what? It doesn't know that it's limitless. That it's what? Independent. The sun shines its own light. It generates light from within itself. Your existence is self-existence, self-revealing. But I don't know about it because I can't see it. I can't experience it as an object. See the problem we got? This is the next teaching. This self that I am cannot be experienced as an object because it's made of three gunas. Now, when sattva guna is present, enough light is reflected that I get an experience that's similar to who I am. Let's put it that way. These are called epiphanies. These are moments of joy. Moments of satisfaction and happiness. When I get what I want, what happens? My desires, rajas, and my fears, tamas, temporarily disappear when I get what I want, and sattva guna comes. My mind comes sattva guna. Awareness shines on the what? On my mind, and I feel happy. I experience bliss. Until what? Until rajas or tamas comes back and obscures the bliss, obscures the reflection, and now what? Turns it into a bunch of desires and agitated thoughts, or what? Or into a feeling of sleepiness and dullness and non-apprehension. Get this, be clear about this. So, you know, I got to close all the doors, man. I got to close. Vedant's got to close all these escape routes that your ego has here. I lived in a cabin in the mountains our family had it for 50 years, and I killed a lot of rats. And I had to. You can't live there. You're so dualistic. You're so violent. You killed those poor rats. Believe me, it was the rats or me, that's it. So the rats had to go. And how do you get a rat? You know, you have to keep blocking their holes. You have to force them to do what you want them to do. And then right away you hit them with a machete and finish them off. Because, you know, put the trap there and grab them. We're trapping you now, okay? You're being trapped. So, you know, you want to wiggle out, you better run away right now. You say, I don't mind you, go ahead. You cannot experience yourself as an object. All these modern teachers are selling it as some kind of experience. Oh, you're suffering here. Oh, it's so bad, it's so awful, you're suffering. Well, there's a state that's way beyond you and this world, and all you have to do is like get your kundalini going, and zip, and you're going to just blast right out of your body and beyond your mind. You're going to have a big orgasm up there with the transcendental consciousness, and you're going to establish yourself in permanent bliss, and everything's going to be happy, happy, happy. Well, it's not going to be absolutely happy, and you're not going to get there because what you're looking for is not an object that you can experience. It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen, never happened. But you think it happens when you get a little sattva and you feel a little good. You think, oh, I'm experiencing the truth now. I'm God now. They don't say now, you just say I'm God. You don't realize it's now means what? You won't be God in a few minutes. Huh? That's all they're selling out there. Believe me, that's all they're selling in the spiritual world. Oh, I experienced God. And that qualifies me to what? To tell you that you're ignorant and you need to experience God. Nobody ever experienced God. Why not? Because God can't be experienced because you are God. Which means what? I don't have an experience problem here. If reality is non-dual and I am God, then what? And I'm always experiencing myself. There's no other option because reality is non-dual. There's no option, man. Then I don't have an experience problem. Surrender to me. I'll tell you the secret mantra. You're gonna your weight up. You know, you're not gonna. Because you're already that. You're already free. You're already okay. You don't need, you're not going to go there because there isn't any there. It's you. Which means what? You means existence, your consciousness, your limitless existence, self-generating consciousness. Generating's not quite the right word, but good enough. No, I don't have an experience problem. I've got an ignorance problem. I don't know who I am. Therefore what? I need to convert my desire to experience myself into a desire to know myself. I would imagine, I'm not, I don't know, but I would imagine that everybody here in this room has probably wanted to know who they are and what the truth is for a long time. Has been really, even though you've had your desires and tried to gain things in this world, that probably your basic orientation is to understand things. Because usually you don't show up in the Vedanta. In Vedanta doesn't attract you, or you're not, unless you want to understand. Because we're truth seekers here. Okay? We're true. That's what we want. We want to know the truth. And this guna teaching, what? It has two parts. It'll set you free by revealing who you are, and it will prepare your mind to know who you are. But remember, who you are is not this seeking person. That person that you think you are, that person on your driver's license, on your passport, is not who you are. That story. When somebody asks you who you are, you always trundle out all your story, right? I was born here, my mother this, my dad that, I went to school here, I did that, I got married, I got a job, blah, 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 blah. Well, that I is only a reflected I. It's got all the stories, all the experiences, they're all collected around this I, but that's not you. You're free of that I. What does free mean? What does limitless mean? Anandam. What does that mean? It doesn't mean you're big. There's no time and space involved in this. There's no causality involved in this. Why? Because reality is non-dual, so there's no separation here. What does it mean? It means, and now look, now think about this clearly. It means what? That when something happens to my body and mind, it doesn't change me. That's what limitless means. I am not affected by what happens to my body and mind, to my instrument, to the objects that are attached to me. My primary instrument's my mind, and my secondary instrument's my body. Now that's a tough one, isn't it? Because when somebody calls you up and they say, "How are you today?" What do you say, in effect? Actually, you may say this: "I'm going through a lot of changes." Right? Don't you think you've gone through a lot of changes in your life? Huh? Don't you think you have? You think you're different now from what you were 5 years ago, 10 years, whatever, don't you? Don't you think you're different? That means what? You think you've changed. But you haven't changed. See the problem we got here? I think I'm a changing finite entity, and the scripture is telling you what? You're unchanging, limitless, infinite entity. That means what? Whatever experiences happen haven't changed you at all. Now, how am I going to make sense out of that? See the contradiction? Big contradiction. I feel like I've been through a lot of changes, and I'm tired and fed up with it. If the changes are good, you still feel okay, but if the changes are not changes that you wanted, then you don't feel so good. How do I make sense of it? Okay, now look, think about this. That person that's sitting here right here now, was that person a child at one time?
Yes.
Yes. Apparently. Means what? Wrong. That person that's here now was not there then. Huh? Well, think about it. For instance, if you're awake and you go to sleep, what happens to the waker? Does the waker go to sleep? Huh? Does it? Huh? When you say, "I go to sleep," but is that true? You don't go to sleep. What happens? You cease to be a waker. When you're laying there trying to go to sleep, can you get to sleep? You can't, can you? It's only when you stop trying to go to sleep and you allow the waker to disappear that you what? Reappear as a sleeper. Isn't it? Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. It's like you're not, if you're going to sleep, well then tell me all about it there. You can't tell me all about it because you're not there to tell me all about it. And you don't decide to dream, do you? Huh? You don't say, "Oh, I think I'll dream now." You never say that. Because you don't dream. Why? You stop being a waker to become a dreamer. You have to lose that identity as a waking state entity to become a dream state entity. And to go back to sleep, you have to stop being a sleeper to become what? Stop being a dreamer to become a sleeper. You have to stop being a dreamer to become a sleeper. And to wake up, you have to stop being a deep sleeper to become a waker, don't you? Now, apply that to this situation. To be the person that's here now, you had to stop being a kid. I don't see any kids here. I don't, huh? Where is that kid? That little baby or boy or little girl? Where are they? Gone? They're gone. You think there's one. You have a memory. You infer that there's one, but that person's not here anymore, is it? So how real is that person? Not real at all. Yet I believe, Yet I believe when somebody talks and they say, oh yeah, I did this, and when I was 5 years old I did this. Well, the I didn't do anything when I was 5 years old. Why? Because that's the part of you that what? Was aware when you were 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, that was aware when you were 10 or 12 or 14, that's aware when you're 20 or 30 or 40, and what? That's aware now that you got gray hairs. That I never changed. It was always present. It was always aware. It always existed. Understand? That I is what? Called the self. That Atma. Sanskrit. You want the Sanskrit? Atma. That Atma is Brahma. Brahma means what? Is limitless. It doesn't begin and it doesn't end. It's unborn. Ajata. Ajati. When did existence begin? When did, Yeah. Are there two existences? Existence is non-dual. It's beginningless and what? It's non-dual. You didn't ever begin and what? And you're not, there's not two of you. Are there two of you? What's your experience? There's not two of you. If there's two of you, you're a schizophrenic. Your experience is what? There's not two of you at all. There's not two of you. There's only one of you, and that you never was born, because it's your existence. It's your consciousness. And existence and consciousness, we said, are the same thing. Well, if that's true, then what are you worried about dying for? Aren't you trying to cram a lot, do a lot of things before you die? Don't you have a whole bucket list? You know your bucket list? Huh? Don't you think, oh, I mean, if you knew you weren't going to die, would you be in a big hurry to get through this life? Huh? Would you? Answer's no. In case I'll answer for you. Okay. The answer is no. People who know who they are, no hurry to go anywhere, because they know they're not going anywhere. They're not happy to get, they're not going chasing to get anything. Why? Because they know they are everything. See the freedom we're talking about here? The freedom that you are, the fullness, the completeness that you are. They know there's nothing to what? That they can get that will complete them, because they know they're what? Whole and complete. Is existence incomplete? Does it require another existence to complete itself? Is consciousness incomplete so that it needs another consciousness from somewhere else to complete itself? It's not. There's no separate consciousness. There's no separate existence. There's only you right here now, existent awareness, existent consciousness. Present, alert, and aware, observing what? Your body and mind, hearing these words. The awareness in me is hearing this voice speak these words, and the awareness, the same awareness is in you, hearing your mind hear these words. Observing your mind hear these words. There's only one of us here. And that self is what is to be known. Now, if I have a problem with that, then I've got a guna problem, I've got an experience problem, I've got an experience and a knowledge problem, and I need to understand what it is that's obstructing me from appreciating this fact about myself. So what? Point 11 on the topic here is, guna management is required to prepare my what? Primary instrument, my subtle body, what? For self-knowledge. Number 11. There's some guna, I've got some problem here that's preventing my assimilation of this knowledge. What would that be? A lack of what? Sattva guna. Why? Because sattva guna is the guna, the energy that what? That allows knowledge to happen. Rajoguna prevents knowledge. Why? Because it's projecting your mind out into the field of objects. Rajoguna is desire. I have all these desires that are what? Are sending my mind out to objects, trying to what? Avoid certain, to pursue certain objects. And tamoguna, what's it doing? It's hiding or hiding the reality of the objects from me. And it's causing me to avoid objects. I'm afraid of certain things. Isn't that right? Isn't it that you want certain things and you're afraid of certain things, and you don't want certain things? Huh? We call that raga dvesha. Raga dvesha means your likes and your dislikes. That's what's driving my what? My life. My likes and my dislikes. What I want and what I don't want. For every desire there's a fear, and for every fear there's a desire. We'll see that. Huh? So this rajas and tamas problem, what, is preventing my mind from sattva guna. And when sattva guna is there, and I hear this teaching, it makes perfect sense. If I'm having problem assimilating this, it's because my mind is rajasic or tamasic. It's either dull and can't get it, or it's too agitated. It's got too many of its own concepts, and it's thinking, what about this, what about that? When the teaching's being heard, so I don't get it. I don't assimilate the teaching. It's a practical problem here. Freedom's a practical problem. It's our point here. There's no mystical stuff here, no magical stuff. You know, you're not gonna, it's just a very practical problem. So what can I do about it? So what? Both, number 12, both the field and the primary instrument need guna management. Yeah? I've got to manage my gunas. And what? And the knowledge of the gunas is required for guna management. Number 13. Can't manage them unless I know what the hell they are. Huh? So, that's your introduction. Okay. Number 2. Now we're going to start. Want to know about these gunas? Okay. We still got some time. Where do these gunas come from? Gunas means what? My fears and my desires, my what? My energy. This creation, this Maya, is made out of three energies. They're called gunas. You'll see some familiar elements, particularly this and this. See our chart is way down here at the bottom? This is, Our chart is way down here at the bottom of the story. Means what? There's a whole, and look, and here I am, the subject staring at an object. Okay? I'm at the bottom of the heap here. Huh? This person? Isn't that what we said? You admitted, I'm not bullshitting you. You admitted that you're a subject, a conscious subject experiencing objects. I didn't see anybody object. There was no objections. No objections. Everybody agrees. I'm a subject experiencing objects. The subject, the self, this person, I'm experiencing. But what's all this stuff? What's all that? Means it's hidden. All this is hidden. If I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you and you're listening to me, this is where we are, but behind us is this whole big story. Whole lot of things that happened, to get us down here. Creation. It's called a creation theory. It's called Karya Karana Vada.
Do you mind asking a
Huh?
question? I'm sorry. Yeah. I saw the colors on the very first thing with the red, yellow, and black. And so as I'm looking at these charts from now on, should I be thinking Sattva for yellow, Rajas for...
Yes, good. That's a good question. He said, you notice the charts are color coordinated, and whenever you see the yellow, you should be thinking Sattva, the black should be Tamas, and the red should be Rajas.
The deep sleeper is full Tamas.
Yeah, the deep sleeper is pure Tamas. Tamaguna, Tamas. Yeah. It's all color coordinated here. You can see this is science. It's a science. This is not, I'm not making this up, okay? I'm a smart guy. I could sell ice to an Eskimo. No doubt about it. But I'm not making this up. Nobody made this up. Ishvara made this up. Okay? God, this is God's knowledge here. This is God's words. So don't think this is coming from me. This is coming through me from Ishvara. And you'll know when I'm being James, okay? You'll know when I'm adding a little something of my own to this. I'll let you know. If you have any doubt, just ask me and I'll tell you. No, this is James here. Okay? All right. Now, see, I got a big problem, don't I? Am I the self, or am I limitless spirit, or where this is your spirit? We call it, you want a kind of Western terminology? Call this spirit and matter. From here on down is matter, and from here on up is spirit. You see that in all religions, and so for Christianity, it's spirit and matter. And I got this problem. Am I a spiritual being, or am I a material being? Whatever. I want to know. That's my big doubt. If I knew I was this, I wouldn't have any problems. If I think I'm only this, I've got nothing but problems. But I'm confused. Not clear. We call that superimposition. I'm confused. Sometimes this gets projected on this, and sometimes this gets projected on this, and I don't know. Sometimes I feel very spiritual and free, and sometimes I feel very, very miserable, suffering and bound to objects here. So I want to get rid of this confusion that I got here. So we have to explain to you what's causing the confusion, how it happens, and what you can do to what? Get out of it. To remove the confusion. We have to explain that. It's just yeah. Are we,
You told me to tell you.
oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, now you got a question, you got a choice here, I'll leave it up to you. Can you power through for another 45 minutes, or do you want a little break and then, you know,
Power through.
power through? All right?
Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead, good for you. Ah, you got some Muk Shutwa. Good for you. Go for it.
Is that James or?
That's Ishwara telling James to encourage you to go for it. So I'd like to go for it too. We had a break, that was enough. I just told you that before so you wouldn't get too nervous. You got a way out, you got your choice, but now you're finished. We're going forward now, okay? So don't complain. Say, oh, that guy, he just natters on for 2 hours a day. Because I will. I love this stuff. James. Well, maybe James isn't James. We'll see. Okay. There's a power in you called Maya. In you, now when I say you, I mean you. I don't mean this one. Right, that right there. I meant, now when I said you, I meant this one. I didn't mean this one down here. I know you may think you're this one, and so that's okay. It's no problem. You could, nothing wrong with being a person, by the way. Huh? You should understand this. There's nothing wrong with being a person. Being a person is a problem if you don't know this. Huh? It's only a problem when you don't know this. Then it is a problem. But you shouldn't feel guilty or you shouldn't feel bad about it. You shouldn't beat yourself up about it because you're ignorant. You should not feel that way because it's not your fault. Did you set out to be ignorant of who you are? No. Then you're off the hook. There's a power in you, that power is called Maya, that what? Hides the truth of yourself from you. It's called Maya. Okay. Maya is called Trigun Atmika Maya. It's the definition in Sanskrit. Maya equals Trigunatmika Maya. In Sanskrit, in Vedanta, we say the word and then we tell you what the definition is. So Maya, Trigunatmika. Trigunatmika means 3 gunas. It's Maya. Okay. Now, and this Maya evolves in a certain way. Maya is matter. This is matter. And this is spirit. Spirit or self does not evolve. It doesn't change. Okay? You need to know this. I'm talking about the 2 parts of you, the part that doesn't change and the part that does change. This part that does change is made up of 3 gunas. And those gunas operate in a certain order. Okay? Now I know there's clever people here. I don't want you to ruin this teaching for me. We're going to say, well, if reality is non-dual, then how can there be an order and how can there be time and all that sort of thing? And, okay? Because we do have another teaching. It's called a Jatiwada, and it's not the cause and effect teaching, but this is called the cause and effect teaching. That teaching is a very advanced teaching, and you need to hear this teaching before you can really assimilate that teaching. That's why we don't teach that teaching. Most of the modern gurus around here teach only that teaching, and that's why nobody can get it, because they haven't heard the cause and effect teaching. That was the reason that we stay away from that at the beginning. And we're starting from the bottom up here. You want to keep with the Vedanta, then you can, and if you feel like you're really ready for that Jatiwada teaching. Soon there will be a book out on it. I've just about finished with it now. Probably in another month or so we'll have another book, if you're ready for that. But don't worry about it. And there's no contradiction between these two teachings, between what we call the teaching, the teaching of the unborn existence and the cause and effect teaching. So we're doing a cause and effect teaching. It's called Satkaryawada or Karana Karyawada. It means cause and effect. Okay, this power in me is made of these three energies. Now, me means what? Limitless, non-dual actionless, ordinary, ever-present, self-existent awareness. And that, in the very beginning, this Maya, this power, projects sattva guna. Actually, it's not correct to call it a guna at this stage. We'll call it a quality. It becomes a guna when we get down here, but right now it's just a quality. In other words, it's a type of energy. And this sattva, in this sattva, this material energy, is contained all the knowledge of the creation. This is why they say God is omniscient. You say God is omniscient? All religions say that. God is all-knowing. That's what, because all the knowledge of the whole creation is contained in the sattva. For example, see, this whole creation is made out of knowledge. You may not feel like it. You mean this chair is knowledge? Yes. You mean this body is knowledge? Yes. You mean the tree is knowledge? Yes. You mean the air is knowledge? Yes. Everything here is nothing but knowledge. Intelligently designed. Before you get any of this stuff, you got to have knowledge. This doesn't happen on its own, does it? I know this is a hard one. I understand. I'm stretching your brain a little bit here, but that's okay. I understand. Okay, let me give you an example. If you have an acorn, you know an acorn? That's a nut or a seed that comes from a tree. Now, if I take that acorn, and if I take that acorn and I just grind it, pulverize it down to atoms, can I find the tree in there? Will I ever find the tree? No. But if I let that acorn fall on the ground in the fall, and get under the earth, and then wait till the spring, and then the earth warms up, and then the sun comes, and then the rains come, the snow melts, what's going to happen? The tree's going to start coming, isn't it? If I let it go for a while, what? I'll have a full-grown oak tree. Now that means what? That means that what? That seed, that knowledge was in the seed. Well, that seed knowledge for the whole creation is called sattva. Does anybody want to argue that this is a chaos here? That this is a chaotic, or what's the other word? Random? Things just happen, just random? No, you can't argue that. You can't argue that it's chaotic or it's random. Why? Because you've got science. Science knows that what? That this is all laws here. Like if you have a problem with your eyes, then you go to an eye doctor, right? That eye doctor has studied the laws of what? Of optics. There's laws. if your eyes are specialized and different from my eyes, then what? Hey, no treatment, is there? Because for me to treat you, I'd have to learn just the special laws that belong to your eyes. And then when the next guy came in, the special things I learned about you wouldn't apply to that other person. I'd have to learn his or her special laws that are operating there. But there's one law of heat, there's one law of light, there's one law of sound. All these are laws, and those laws can be known there. And all those laws are contained in the sattva. Okay. Now, but what? Then what? Then in the next stage, that's called predominant sattva. That's the very first stage of creation. Now, in the second stage of creation, yeah, Ted.
I just want to clarify, because on one side it says pure sattva, on the other side it says predominant sattva
Yeah.
in that category. Does it say pure sattva because the tamas and rajas energies are like in a seed form?
Yeah, that's right. They're not predominant yet. They have, at this first stage, there's only knowledge. This is why you can't blame God for all the problems here. Because God is what? You, pure existence consciousness, plus pure sattva. When you get Rajas and Tamas here, you start getting problems. But you don't have any problems with the pure knowledge, the pure, there's no problem there. God hasn't created a world of problems yet. That comes later. In the next stage, when Rajas predominates, then what? Then you get problems. Now you could say, well, well, no, we can explain to you very clearly why God is not responsible for the problems. But it does look like it. Understand? You don't want to end up blaming God, because you've got all these people out there blaming God for all this stuff. Right? Say, that's not fair. You see one guy, he's a damn criminal. He's breaking every law in the world, and he's enjoying himself. He's happy and enjoying himself, and everybody's patting him on the back. You say, how can that be? And then you see and then you see this really virtuous person who's just doing everything right, and following all the rules, and he's just visited all this suffering on him. And so what do you think? That's not fair. God must be a pervert. Right? That's what you think. And then you blame God. Oh, you see, there's no justice here. God did this and God did that. Oh, God didn't do anything at all. There's a reason. The law of karma explains all that for you. We'll get to that maybe, hopefully. If not, it's a teaser. You can keep studying the Vedanta and figure out why, why the good people suffer and bad people enjoy sometimes. That's not the topic right now. Anyway, so it's pure here. Just pure awareness plus the idea of the creation, plus the knowledge for the creation. This is why the Christians are right. You know, they're fighting with the scientists. You guys must know about that big fight that the Christians have with the scientific materialists. And the Christians say it's an intelligently designed universe. Now the scientists actually can't argue with that, because they couldn't really be investigated if it wasn't intelligently designed. But they don't want to accept that because they don't like the God principle. Because Christians have a funny idea about God. That's why. Sorry if there are any Christians here, I don't mean to offend you. But it is a kind of funny idea. We're explaining God now, okay? God is Maya, Maya is God, and God is what creates the universe. We're explaining how the universe is created. When you understand this, then you won't have any problem with the God principle. That's all. Problem with religions are they don't explain the God principle clearly. So you can have all these questions and doubts about it, and then rational people are going to say, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Well, when you get done with this, you're going to see it certainly does make sense. The God principle makes a lot of sense. In fact, it's totally common sense. But it's only common sense when you what? You understand it, when you've been taught it. Okay, now in the second stage, this matter, Rajas predominates. It's like a wheel. This Sattva, Rajas, Tamas is like a wheel. We call it the wheel of Dharma. Maya is the Dharma Raja. It's the king of Dharma. And Dharma is the wheel of Dharma. You'll see it in the iconography of the Indian tradition, the Vedic tradition. The Buddhists picked it up from there. It's a wheel of Dharma, and that means what? In the first stage, you've got awareness, and then this sattva gunas appearing in it, and they're what? That's God understanding. In other words, God projecting the universe in the form of knowledge. In the next, then what? Then now I've got the idea, and the sattva is starting to recede or become dormant. Is starting to go dormant, and the rajas is now coming up in front of you, consciousness, awareness. And what is happening there? It scatters and shatters. That's the Big Bang. It scatters and shatters the mirror of matter into innumerable shards. What are those shards? Those are all the conscious beings that exist. That's why you have innumerable jivas. Jivas are conscious entities that appear throughout the creation. You know about your biome? Or do you know what a nematode is? Probably don't. In one little square inch of your body there are, what, 10 billion entities living? Did you know that? Did you ever see the, what do they call this? What do they call those bears? They call them something bears. Those little critters, you have to take a picture of them with a huge microscope. But if you, what do they call them? Something bears. They're the weirdest looking little things. You know you have millions of them in one tiny inch of your body? In fact, 80% of us is biomass, living beings. Conscious entities operating, doing things here. You probably don't think like that. I don't want to think like that. Huh? You don't know about what? The Higgs boson, do you? I mean, you know about them, but can't see a Higgs boson. You can't see a quark or a meson. You can't even see an atom or a proton or a neutron. Yet what? Your body is what? Nothing but elementary particles from the tiniest, huh? It's like unbelievable. And this creation is full of conscious beings. There's actually stuff that can come from outer, that can survive space and can survive. There's actually conscious entities that can survive like super high temperatures and super freezing. They found little entities that can freeze and turn into kind of like antifreeze and then reanimate later on. It's unbelievable when you start thinking about it. And then there's elephants, and there's whales, and there's human beings, and there's dogs, and there's cats, and there's like, And the mind of God has created a most amazing number of programs, entities, and then what? Split them all up, give the Big Bang. Rajas is that bang, that power, that what? Just shatters the mirror of matter, and what spreads matter all over the place, and in the form of what? These reflected awarenesses, these reflected consciousnesses. And what? These conscious beings are a mixture of spirit, of matter and consciousness. Reflected consciousness now. And then what? In the third stage of creation is predominant tamas. I got other charts, but we haven't got time to go through them yet. You'll see in the Guna book, we take it down, we break it all down, all these processes down, all this creation, cause and effects. Right? Now in the third stage, yes sir.
In the last part that you said, it is so much in congruence with the structure of the placenta from which the body comes. If you look at them, the villi, you can see any kind of animals in those villi.
Yeah,
Strange, half elephant,
Yeah.
half fish,
everything.
everything.
Oh, it's all mixed up. It's all a big, huge mixture here. Huh? It's all getting mixed up. Just this pure material thing is now getting all scattered and shattered and mixed and remixed. We have a theory for it. It's called Panchakarna. Panchakarna is the division and the mutual recombination of the material elements. Both the subtle material elements and into what? Into gross material elements. It's unbelievable. Science will tell you all about this. We're not that interested in all the details. Why? Because all of our teachings are what? Meant to reveal what the self is and what the relationship between Satya and Mithya is. This is Satya means what's real and true and eternal, and Mithya means what's apparently real, what's ever changing, and so forth and so on. So our whole teaching is to help us discriminate this ourself from the objects and set ourselves free. But to do that, we have to what? Prepare our minds. And to prepare our mind, we need to understand how the mind is operating here. Because we're down here, huh? We got some work to do. We need to get this clear. It's got a great relief when you understand this teaching, let me tell you. Huh? You can offload so much anxiety and so forth if you can understand this cause and effect teaching. Okay, so now we've got jivas. We've got the knowledge for the creation. We've got the conscious beings. But the conscious beings can't do anything, can they, without what? Body, a world. Your body is part of the material world. Your body is matter. Now I know you think your body is very intelligent, very conscious, don't you? You all think your body is so wonderful and so conscious. Your body is nothing but just 5 elements: air, fire, water, earth, and space. These are, that's all it is. These 5 elements have to divide and recombine to create a material world. Now, here the creation is split up. Now we got duality here between a subject and an object. We have the reflection appearing here as a jiva, an eternal jiva. All the jivas are eternal. All of them are eternal because they're all what? Just reflected awareness. And the reflecting media, the pure sattva, makes them eternal. That's fine. But what? They've got a material side to them. This is called the reflecting medium, and this is called the reflection. And the reflection is what? Both of those, the reflecting medium, the matter side, and the spiritual side, the reflection side, right, are now appearing here. That's why we have duality. Up to this stage, there's no duality. And there's jivas in potentia. There's knowledge in potentia. The knowledge hasn't manifested. The jivas haven't manifested yet. What? Why? The jivas can't manifest. Why? Because the jivas have karmas. And they need bodies to work out their karmas. So Ishvara has got to supply a material world for us, what? So that we can act out our karmas. Right? The Indians in here get it. Westerners may have a little trouble with this. Law of karma is pretty well known to Indians in some form or another. So it's not that difficult. See, you've got all these desires. You've got all these desires in your mind, in your subtle body, don't you? But what good are they and your fears unless you've got a world in which to operate? So Ishwara puts all these fears and desires when you're what? When you've been separated from who you are, you what? You're ignorant of your wholeness and completeness, and so suddenly at this stage you have all these fears and desires as a jiva. But there's no place for you to work them out. So Ishwara's got to give you a field, a kshetra, a material field, for where you can work out your fears and your desires. This whole play of consciousness is what? Is working out your stuff here in a material world. That's why you need a car, and you need food, and you need shelter, and you need all this stuff. Huh? You can't work out your karma here. And the karmas are all programmed into you before you appear here. In this stage, all of your karma is already waiting to be fructified. Isn't that right? Isn't that? Think about it. When you come here, you've got a what? You've got all these desires. You've got, huh? Why do everybody starts differentiating into the fields, don't they? So one person becomes a doctor, one becomes a lawyer, one becomes an athlete, one becomes an accountant, another becomes a stockbroker, a third becomes a whatever it is. Huh? And you start entering into those worlds, don't you? Because of those tendencies in you. Those are your karmas. They produce vasanas or desires, and that sends you off into the material world where you can work out your fears and desires. Now, so now we've got a reflected awareness, and we've got what? 5 material elements: air, fire, water, earth, and space, which combine and which divide and recombine according to a particular formula. It's called Panchakarnam. I don't have that. I don't think I put that chart here because it's only a weekend and we haven't got time to go into it. No, good. And these 5 elements become the cosmos. We haven't got down here yet. We have the eternal reflection. We have all the jivas, eternal individuals, reflecting awareness. And now we have what? A cosmos here. Cosmos is what? What the scientists are studying. Macrocosmic matter. You've seen that. All in all, we're always hearing all this stuff about all these worlds. I mean, it blows your mind. Huh? We got these morons like Elon Musk and these guys. We've ruined this world. Huh? We've destroyed this one. And what was it? That the biggest moron of all is the guy that's the most intelligent one around. What's his name? The guy in the wheelchair? Stephen Hawking. He said, we got to get out of here. You only got 100 years to survive. Got to get to Mars. All right? Better get to Mars. No, don't fix up what's here. We're going to trash this planet. In 100 years, it'll be livable here, but we got to move humanity to the next planet so we can destroy that world over there. And there's plenty of places you can go here because they've taken pictures with their telescopes, the radio waves and stuff. They're able to tell you that there are zillions of planets out there that we can destroy. So don't worry, guys. You can just keep on raping and robbing day and night because there's an infinite number of worlds out there that you can pollute. That's what we're doing here, isn't it? We're just polluting. You can't breathe the air anymore, can't eat the food, can't drink the water. And nobody's stopping it. Nobody's stopping it. It's getting worse and worse and worse all the time. The poor guys that are trying to stop it or slow it down and try to make this place habitable, they're toast. Donald Trump's put some guy in charge of the EPA that doesn't even believe in what? In global warming. Climate change? You gotta be kidding. Pollution? You gotta be kidding. There's no pollution here. It's all, the rich people don't have any pollution because they bought the little bits of land and water. They've got it all figured out. So they can't see any pollution because they're so rich they don't have to. They just move to places and, you know, create environments where they feel safe and protected. But yeah. So then the next stage, out of these 5 elements comes this whole material creation, and then in that material creation there are billions and trillions of worlds. Scientists will tell you about that, and then of which one is Earth. Poor little Earth down here. Don't you feel sorry for us? Look at us, man. We're such a chicken shit little planet. I mean, come on. There's not much to us here. We're just one. We love it, of course. We'd like to live here. It'd be nice for our kids and all that to carry on here, but it seems to be. And then what? On the Earth is what? Oh, a bunch of objects. And here I am, reflected by this reflection, this jiva. What is it? This jiva goes through these 3 states: waking, dream, and deep sleep. It starts with sleep first. Jiva is born out of sleep, out of your vasanas, are contained in the causal body, and that it turns into ideas and thoughts and desires, and that produces a waking state entity. And that waking state entity is this chart here. It's made up of all these parts, and that appears as me, the subject. So it stands to reason. That what? If I want to figure out what's going on and what my relationship is to objects, I better understand what's behind me. Now, this Maya teaching, this Satkaryavada, is what? See, we got a little spider here. Did you see a little spider hanging there?
I didn't notice it till now.
Didn't you notice it? Yeah. What does that mean? This is that means that Maya, where's Maya, Where's Maya going to get the intelligence and the material to create the universe? Like a spider. Take a spider. A spider is what's called the Naimittika Karanam and the Upadana Karanam for the web. Out of a spider comes a web. So the symbol is here that this creation is like a web. And that Ishwara or Maya, Ishwara means Maya, Ishwara Maya is a spider. In other words, out of Ishwara, both the knowledge for the creation is coming, in the sattva, and what? And the material, the tamas, are both coming out of Ishwara, out of Maya. Just like what? The web is what? The spider is intelligent, and it takes out of its own body, and it shapes the web out of its own body. That means what? Its creation is non-dual. Everything's coming out of Ishvara. And Maya is what? A power in you, consciousness. So everything here is made out of you. That's a stretch, isn't it? Huh? That's a stretch.
Isn't it the same as Pinde? Yatha Pinde, Tatha Brahmande, Yatha Pinde, inside you is outside.
Yeah, that's right. What's inside is outside. In other words, everything that you experience is nothing but you. And Maya is generating the material objects and all the stuff out of you. That means there's no inside and no outside, isn't it? That's kind of weird. Huh? So if you're like blaming, huh? If you're like pointing the finger, blaming or pursuing things, if you're pursuing something, you're just pursuing yourself. If you don't like something, you just don't like yourself, do you? Huh? See what non-duality means? See the practical part? If you don't love something, you're not loving yourself. Huh? If you hate somebody, you're hating yourself. Hmm? Oh, that doesn't work for me, I'm sorry. The Donald doesn't know that the Democrats are himself. The liberals are himself. And the liberals don't know that the Donalds themselves. Huh? But there's no other option, what? If there's only one of us here. And that what every object is born out of us. Okay, we got just a couple minutes. I'm going to give you a hard teaching. Maybe it's not so hard now. And this you may have to think about a little bit. Here's the teaching. If A equals B and B equals C, then C equals A. Correct? Okay. You signed on. Huh? You can't give me any duality after this, okay? I don't want any duality from you. Where are these glasses? Now you're suspicious, I know that. I knew you were going to get... Now, okay, let's pretend we're normal and we don't know who you are.
In your hand.
In my hand, that's the right answer. That's the wrong answer, but the right answer. With me not, it's always like that. It's always, it is, but it isn't. They're in my hand. I say they're in me. Okay, now there's two different statements. Now let's take care of your statement first. They're in my hand. How can we, in other words, what makes the statement they're in my hand true? What presupposition about my identity am I making to make the statement they're in my hand true?
You're identifying as your body.
Body. If you're your body, then these glasses are in my hand. We agree.
No.
Are you your body?
No.
More than
Huh?
more than my body.
You're not. Why are you not your body? Okay.
The body's an object.
Body's in you.
Body is an object known to me, isn't it? Think about it. It's very simple. Yeah. Yeah, no, it may be hard, but then why did you say the glasses are in my hand? See, if you know you're not your body, then you won't say the bodies are in my hand, will you? You won't say that. But if you think the body is in my hand, then you think you're the body. See the problem here? Look, you take a picture, okay? You have a camera, and you've been shown a picture. Can you see the camera in the picture? Why not? Why can't you see the camera in the picture? There must be, you know there's a camera, don't you? But you can't see it, can you? How are you going to get to the camera? Because you can't have a picture without a camera, can you? You know that, but you can't see the camera. The camera never shows up in the picture, does it? You have to infer the camera, don't you? Now, inference is a valid means of knowledge. Where there's smoke, there's always fire, isn't there? Where there's a body or a mind or any other object, there's got to be what? Consciousness. But I can't see the consciousness. But I can understand the consciousness, I can know that there's consciousness. Why? Because without what? Without consciousness, there's no objects. In other words, what? All objects are dependent upon me, consciousness. They're there because I'm here. I'm not here because they're there. But that's how I think, isn't it? When I identify with the body and my ego is identified with the body, then what do I assume? I assume that I see an object because it's there. But Vedanta says, no, the object is there because I see it. Now, what's caused that problem? Maya. It's called viparaya. Viparaya means that Maya reverses the relationship between you and the object. So you think the self is an object and the to be known, but the self is the knower. And what our job is to reverse the relationship between you, the self, and the object, and put you back in its right place. Now, there's no experience that's going to reverse the reversal, is there? Because what? Because the experience is a result of the reversal. The only thing that's going to reverse the reversal is what? Understanding who I am. What the proper relationship between myself and the object is. Now, and how do we do that? We drill down into our experience to what? To find out how experience works, and then you're going to see, then you can make a statement with pure, full knowledge that what? These are not in my hand, these are me, and therefore they're non-separate from me. Okay, light strikes the object, and what happens? It passes through the cornea of my eye, and it appears on my retina upside down. If the glasses are like this in here, then when it becomes a picture, when it becomes a glasses object on my retina, it's upside down. The scientists will tell you this. And then it travels down the optic nerve, and it's reversed, and it appears in my subtle body. Here's my subtle body. We're way down here now in the chart. It appears in my subtle body as what? The experience, or the experience / thought of glasses. So you're not over here experiencing the glasses. If you were over here experiencing the glasses, then nobody else could experience the glasses here, could they? Because you'd be in the way. And then everybody else would just be experiencing the back of your head as you're trying to experience the glasses. But that's not how it is. Everybody in this room has glasses experience, glasses knowledge, don't they? Yeah, unless you're seeing a dog or a cat, and then you've been smoking something. Because what? Knowledge is true to the object. You don't have any choice about knowledge. If it's presented to you and your mind is open, then everybody's going to see glasses here, and everybody in the room will raise their hand. Are these glasses? Yes, they all raise their hand. Which means what? You're experiencing the glasses in what? In your mind. Okay? A equals B. The glasses equals what? The experience, knowledge of the glasses. Okay, got A equals B. Now we got one more step. Two more steps. Tell me this. How far is your mind from you? Let's say, look, think about it. Look, see if you can find. Can you find a difference between you and your mind? No. You can't. Your consciousness, your self-awareness has become your mind. That is, a wave in you appears as a glasses thought, a glasses experience. Your conscious, when an object appears, your consciousness takes the form of that object, and you say, I'm experiencing, I'm knowing a glasses, or any other object. The mind can do that because it's limitless. Because it's consciousness. Why? Why do we say it's limitless? Because if I put the glasses here and remove the glasses and put a hand here, immediately what? A hand is known, isn't it? That means what? Your consciousness, your existence is not modified by the glasses. If it were, then when I put the hand here, you'd see hand superimposed on glasses, and there'd be a confusion here, wouldn't there? And then after you had a lot of experiences, you wouldn't ever see what it was, because there'd be so many there'd be so many objects appearing. It's like the old screens, the old computers. You had screensavers. Why? Because whenever you'd have an object that's set on the screen for a long time, it would burn a picture, burn an image into the screen, and then what? After it had a number of images on there, the screen you couldn't clearly see what was on the screen anymore because you had too many impressions on that screen. But in fact, what? There's no impressions left. When the glasses thought go, that what? You clearly see the hand. So your knowledge, your experience is just consciousness appearing as an object. There's no separation. Your mind is just your consciousness appearing as what? As a knower experiencing entity of an object. Which means what? B equals C. Now, if A equals B and B equals C, then C equals A. That means what? The glasses are me. There's no separation between me and my glasses.